pandemic
You lie, Rich.
to be used to help out in Flint. And there's $94 million and other dollars to the Flint public school system. They have been allocated several millions of dollars, but the main thing is getting a resolution passed to receive X amount of dollars for our North Flint food market.
Amen.
At 5402 Clio Road. And we were scheduled last Monday, a week ago, to be down to witness the council passing this resolution from the North Flint food market for $6,000,
$600,000.
Yes, $600,000 to help us to complete our renovation, because the prices of material that we had already allocated money for have accelerated. And so the North Flint, the CEO of the North Flint Reinvestment Corporation submitted a resolution to the council to be passed, to go to the mayor to see if we can get the $600,000.
So how did that go?
Not too good. Not too good. The council pushed back on it for several reasons. And they were saying that some of the material that we are putting in our store, that we didn't need that expensive part or equipment to be in our store, because they didn't have it in Grand Blanc or at Walmart or in their neighborhood, and they pushed back because they felt that the $600,000 was not being used worthy. And but we had to take our hat off to Mr. Eric Mays of the First Ward, who initiated the resolution. But it was a lot of discussion on the resolution for the north end of Flint, but they scrutinized the resolution on the north end of Flint, but they did not scrutinize any other monies allocated for Miller Road.
They have a lot of problems with allocating money to the north side of Flint, and it's a particular group that always have a problem with allocating funds to the north side of Flint, and we need to do something about that.
Well, that's what we've been doing. We attended several meetings and so forth, but like I said, these are some of the things that's going on Flint. These different meetings that the mayor has set up and the council people have set up, going around the city, taking suggestions what to do with the money, and I think that's redundant. We've done this almost a year ago. We told the council, at least our council person in the First Ward, we suggested to him a year ago what we would like to see done on the north end.
A lot of suggestions been made. And you know what's funny about this? Mm-hmm. We got certain council people that have been very visible, very active in city council before they ran for council. Mm-hmm. And they get on council and act like they don't know nothing about resolutions.
Yeah.
Like they give an excuse for not giving Flint employees some of their Harper money because the resolution didn't include Hurley workers. Why you don't have common sense to say, okay, I'm gonna write a resolution to give the workers for Hurley, instead of arguing and trying to use it as an excuse to help people? Why don't they write their own resolutions up? Now, when it comes to the North Bank food, to me, like people ask me about it, I was like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. If you give them the money, you're gonna have this side saying they don't need the money. If you don't give them the money, you're gonna have this side saying they should have got the money. But me myself, I understand Far as when they said I think one of the council person brought it up that I really don't agree with it. I feel that is a very nasty council person, but she brought up a good point when she said we haven't heard from all of the nonprofits that would like some of the Harper funds, and I must admit that's a good reason, but if I was on city council, I'm voting to get y'all that $600,000 flat out. Flat out. But I understand where they're coming from. And what needs to be made, because the way they talk, they act like when they give y'all 600,000, that's not even $1 million. They got 38 million, don't they? Or 37.5?
Yeah.
I mean, but the way they talk about it, like it's all over with. No, that's half of what y'all gave that firm for nothing.
Another point is too that those are our tax dollars also, not just because they feel. But see, I agree to some part of that, but we are already up and running. We've been building, renovating, soliciting members to join this organization for over 7 years. We have received monies from the governors. We have received monies from various other philanthropist organizations in our Genesee County. We done jumped the hoops. We've already submitted applications.
I want to interrupt you right quick. I'm sorry.
Yes,
but I want to interrupt. But do y'all notice, listening artists, he's saying the word we. He is not saying me and Pastor Flynn. He ain't saying Pastor Flynn. He's saying we.
Yes, this is a community-driven co-op. It's a community, people coming together after they join with a $250 one membership fee for life. This is not a social club. It's not like SAM. It's not like any other organization. It's family. It's community-driven. Anybody can become part of it geographically, from Grand Traverse to Tupelo, Mississippi. So it's a co-op, a group of people cooperating with cooperatives, meaning the structure, philanthropists, business people, doctors, professional people, to make up this store that's community driven, and the people that's going to work there are being hired from the inner city, and the monies will stay in the city 3 or 4 days before it leaves like the other stores. Yes, sir. So,
like I said, I understand their excuses are concerns, which however y'all want to look at it, you can look at it as an excuse, you can look at it as a concern.
Yeah,
but
it's my project. It's our project.
But that's something that just is needed, and then we need it from the personal standpoint. We need to make what little bit of grocery stores we have respect us.
That's right.
Right now, we're not getting no respect. We are low-end workers when it comes to the business. Ain't we not managers up in the grocery stores? We're not stockholders in the grocery stores. It's like that old song say, they take our money and they send their kids to college.
Right. They use our tax dollars to build stadiums, to build the other great monumentals or municipal facilities in Detroit. A lot of those stadiums were built in major cities, are built on the community tax dollars. And then also, brother, they borrow monies from our pension holders. General Motors, UAW, retirees, they utilize those funds. And then they get a rebatement refund or abatement when they do start a business in Genesee County. They get a tax break. And they hang with us for about 20 years, then they pull out. Look at that organization, that pharmaceutical back here that built out there on Atherton Road. Yeah, Atherton and Saginaw Street. And they hung around, and then all of a sudden they done folded up. See,
when a tax break goes, so does the business. Look at all the tax breaks we gave to the hotels that are no longer standing up.
That's right.
Soon as it's time for them to support the city, they jet. What you think on with that one downtown that got that 50-year tax abatement? Do you think they even gonna be here for 50 years?
No, they're gonna do like General Motors, sneak out at midnight if we don't stay on top of them. And our past governor, Snyder, is a union buster. Water took over our water situation with the emergency manager concept. So we got to stand up and fight in Flint as residents. A lot of people don't like Mr. President Eric Mays. Yes, he is a little long-winded and he does get out of hand, but he does speak on the issue for the benefit of the Flint residents.
Stop focusing on his delivery and pay attention to what he's talking about.
Amen.
X out the volume in his voice and pay attention to the words that he is saying. Don't get derailed and let somebody change the conversation to his delivery or his tone. Keep the subject on what he's saying. Keep the conversation on what he's talking about. See, that's what I like about Eric.
Yeah.
Because Eric, watching how people treat Eric has prepared me for a lot of things that has happened to me. Because people don't, when you are a person that's running for office and you're talking about zero balance in everybody's water account, they gonna send their negative people out to talk about you and to change the subject. I mean, I'll just give you an example. We had Mr. Pfeiffer on, Councilman Pfeiffer on our show, and we were talking, and we was talking about the house, the 600 houses, right?
Right.
So the first comment that pop up is he didn't vote for the black girl to get put on the DDA. When the truth of the matter of it is that's not our subject. Our subject is those 600 houses. Don't come on there trying to change our subject instantly. I remember me and Claudia Perkins when she was running for state rep.
Yeah.
We did a powerful video. And I guess the opposition listened to the video off rip. Because the first person that commented on the video was talking about how Claudia was dressed. So the whole conversation, instead of people tuning in and paying attention to the great things that Claudia had to say, they was commenting about how she dressed. And see, that's the same thing that they do with Eric. He does something and they get to talking about being on the highway with flow flat tire, which if I was them, I would have stopped using that scenario. Because anybody with common sense would know that that's an automatic setup. No one in America has ever had 4 flat tires at the same time after leaving it. Now, he didn't left an establishment and drove long enough to get on the highway before his finally go flat.
Yeah. You got a good point.
That's just common sense.
Yeah. And that's what's going on, Brother Jones. We talk about systemic racism, institutionalized racism, and so forth, and racism and so forth, and white folks, a lot of white folks, they can't stand when we go to the race card, and white people, they don't like us as black people when we use our voices, raise our voices, because they don't appreciate authority in a black man's hand. See, they're the racists, really. Somebody asked a question a couple years ago, is America a racist? I can't say that America is racist, but I will say that some people in America
are
they
racist.
play the race card. Yes. And we got them right down there on our council, that evil worthy, whatever her name is, and she can't stand Eric when he begins to digest the laws and regulations and the responsibility of the council and what rights that the council have. They just can't handle it. And someone said years ago, if you can't stand the heat in the kitchen, get out.
That and another thing happened this week that the system. You're right, Demetrius, is very racist. Another thing that I've been noticing about that city council is it just seems like they don't. Some of them they are pitted up against arguing with Eric, like they got elected to tick him off. I'm like, for real.
Most of them did. That second ward commissioner, third ward commissioner, fourth ward commissioner, they did, and they are motivated. But I believe the influence come from the mayor's office, because if you check out his campaign, it consisted of a whole lot of negatives of the previous administration. And if you listen at him talk, every time he's on some show or asks question how Flint is, he always talk about the previous administration. And since I've been the mayor, since I've been this, things have been changing, you see. So I just believe white folks, bring it on down, it's a white and black thing. And white folks just cannot stand black people in control. And you got to be strong out here. That's one thing I like about Mr. Mays. Yes, he goes overboard, but he's not afraid to speak up when something is not supporting the black community.
And may I say something else? May I add to that list? You ain't afraid to speak up either. Oh yeah, y'all. This is an original water warrior that I'm on the phone with now, Reverend Thalkill. An original. I'm a water warrior. He's an original water warrior. Reverend Thalkill.
In the early days, yeah.
Well, I got your back. I'm here now. I wasn't even in when y'all was thumping. Hey, but man, look, I salute y'all. My mama was living in. Y'all represented my mama. Y'all represented my people. I wasn't here. Only thing I knew was when I was coming home to help my mama out, I didn't know I was finna bump into you. I didn't know I was finna bump into Claire. I didn't know I was finna start doing this podcast. I didn't know I was finna run for office. I didn't know none of that. But I came down here and I met all y'all, and all y'all was waiting for me because y'all was doing y'all thing whether I was gonna come to Flint and help out or not. And I commend y'all for that. Now I gotta ask you this question: how do you feel about Rick Snyder taking the fifth?
Say that again.
How do you feel about Rick Snyder taking the fifth?
Start taking the fifth.
How you feel? He took the fifth. He pleaded the fifth.
I don't believe in that. Now, hold on. Gotta get my grandson on.
Hey, grandson.
Hey,
what up, little cuz?
Hey, fella. Let it go. Let granddaddy go. Yeah, he's gonna be the next mayor of Flint. Right. After Karen Weaver. Yes. But anyway, say that question again, Doc.
I said, how do you feel about Rick Snyder pleading the fifth in the Flint water crisis?
I think that's a cowardly move when you won't speak your conviction and you got to hide behind I plead the fifth. No, I wasn't trained to plead the fifth. I stand on my convictions, what I believe, and I don't mind speaking it out, long as I'm not hurting anyone physically or verbally. But I stand on my conviction, and I'm not scared. I know who butter my bread, and I own my house, and I'm retired. I'm a General Motors salary retiree. Worked 17 years with the UAW, and so I think that's a cowardly move, but it's there to be used. If you want to not reveal everything, you take the fifth. And I hope that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It goes back to what my boy Chris Caleb said. The system is racist. That's a racist part of the system. Allow somebody to take the fifth after they murdered people in our city. People have died because of this water. People have lost babies because of this water.
That's right.
And you gonna take the fifth? Now let me ask you a question, because you are more educated, and that's what I like about this. I don't do this podcast to just educate the people. I do this podcast to get some education myself.
Well,
and I need your help on this.
Well,
how can will he be able to will he be allowed to take the plea, or do the judge have to decide whether or not she's going to accept that as a plea?
Well, I'm not too familiar. This Chris Taylor, you say?
Chris Caleb.
Taylor. I'm not familiar with that situation right now. I have to do some study on it.
Okay.
But like I say, if I'm involved with a confrontation or decision making on an issue, I don't resolve to taking the fifth. I think if you got something to say, I think you ought to say it. But our system is designed by the Western Europeans, which are Caucasians, and the reason they put law on the book, just like the city charter. I was an anti-revision of the state charter. It wasn't, if it isn't broken, then it doesn't need fixed. And when that charter was put together, look at the members that was on that charter. They sat down, Murphy was on that charter, Sister McGee was on that charter, and I think that fair complected preacher was on that charter, Ramsdale, they were on that charter. I went to many of those meetings, and I told them, you cannot legislate morality. You can't do it. But they all look, and they wrote that charter to control Mays and any other black leader, including the mayor of the city of Flint.
Well, you got to look at this mayoral term. It's only a 3-year. It's only a 3-year mayoral term.
Yeah,
and the reason why, and a 5-year city council term. The reason why they did that is because the next mayoral race and the next city council race will be together. So that was their whole purpose of, like right now, Eric Mays is running for mayor and he's on city council. That's to stop people from doing that. So
I think Mays should not. I don't think nobody. I think we should come up with one candidate for the mayor's race, from the primary to the general election. We don't have no time to mess around with people running for mayor, and we know that's not the person we want. There's nobody in the world right now that I would want for mayor other than Dr. Weaver. Dr. Weaver is the most qualified person for mayor over beyond the mayor that we have in there now. It's time that we as black people, you just don't be running for a position. And when I look at the action of some of the, you still with me?
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you.
You look at some of the action of those new council persons, they don't even know how to carry a motion. Some of them. Not only a resolution. So we've got to sit down and look at who's the best person for the mayor of Flint. And I haven't talked to Mays about running for mayor, but I'm anti-anybody. I know they have the right, but that's a disgrace if we run 3 or 4 people for the mayor. We need to sit down and come together on who's the best candidate if we want to get rid of the present candidate, the present mayor in position. Because we hurt ourselves as black people. So we need to, every position, even a pastor of a church. We get all of these resumes coming into these churches and they just confused. But you need to sit down and know what you want. And just like shopping at a flea market, when you see something you know you don't want it, leave it alone. And I think we need, especially for this mayor race for this term, I don't think nobody needs to run but Karen Weaver. And
well, you know that Sheldon Neely ain't trying to lay down, and Eric Mays, and I'm positive Eric got enough signatures to get on the ballot. So it's gonna be at least a 3-way race. And I heard something about Juantez Davis also running. But let me say this, and Eric, I'm just telling you who's running for mayor. But far as if Eric would be able to pull it out and become mayor, I don't think he would be a terrible choice as mayor. I think Eric would probably do it. It might even cool Eric down. Eric's problem right now is his aggressiveness and his tone and his argument and the negative things that they're going to bring up about his past. They're not going to communicate with Eric about any issues because Eric going to beat them hands down. So they're going to try to bring up his past history and deflect the conversation on the old Eric and not the Eric that's trying to become mayor. So it's gonna be an interesting race. I feel that at the end of the day, our city is going to be in better hands than it is now. I feel our city is, to be honest, Pastor Theo, okay, we only got one way to go. We can't go down no further.
Well, that's what I don't understand, why you want to have candidates that not qualified to be the mayor to run in the primary. All you doing is dividing those that do vote. Did you not know that the last mayoral race, only 14,205 people voted out of the city of Flint?
Yep.
At the end of the day, Weaver had 7,000 votes. Neely had 7,205 votes.
What do you remember the numbers in the primaries when Pfeiffer counted?
Oh, I don't know about it. I don't know what he counted. But I'm trying to eliminate. I want to keep the race strong from the primary right
all the way up, and I understand that. But I'll go all the way back to the race when Weaver was running against Wiley, and I look at the primary when it was Karen in second and Eric in third. And what I did is, at that time, I added up Karen votes and I added up Eric votes because I knew that whoever voted for Eric wasn't finna vote for Wally. So when I added those numbers up, I was like, we about to make history. We about to have our first black mayor. And the truth was, now if you look at that last election, you look at Don Pfeiffer, and you look at Karen Weaver, and you look at Sheldon Neely. When Don Pfeiffer got eliminated from the race, either his supporters was going to vote for Sheldon Neely or they wasn't going to vote at all. And I think that was part of it. Was a whole lot of things, a whole lot of different things that could have happened during that election to where the result could have changed. And for it to only be a 208 person deficit,
205.
yeah, 205, that says a miracle just for Karen Weaver campaign, because like I said, she had a lot going against her in that campaign where she had like 4 or 5 things that was detrimental to her, to where she would have changed one of them that she would have won the election.
Well, so, that's the things that we want to correct in this next mayor race. That's why I'm scrutinizing the primary. She's gonna committee.
She's gonna do well in the primary.
The committee is coming together to talk to her, to present, to make suggestions, why she lost, and try to correct those things for the incoming race. But
I'm not gonna say what it is, but I already see one problem that she had last election that she's not gonna have this election, and that's I'm just not gonna name the name, but she's not gonna have that personal attacker this time against her. I think that personal attacker that probably cost her 1,000 votes within all that, because right now to this day, people still say that Karen Weaver is a thief.
Well, that's a lie.
But that's a lie that's been told for over 4 years now. Well, and it's still believed by a lot of people in Flint.
Well, if you look at the racist process of how monies are allocated throughout the city, it's a racist thing. And I don't believe Karen's administration
had anything to do with that.
Money came in here would hide it. But you got fiduciaries, you got community foundations, Mott Foundation, Uptown, Tim Herman, all of those gatekeepers, they get the cream of the crop. And then you got some black folks that even though the skin is black, but they like coconuts and Oreo cookies. They protect their annual salary, so they won't say nothing. So my thing is, I'm just trying to eliminate all the problems from the get-go. And if I had to say so, I would double dare anybody to run in the primary. But Karen.
I wish would come back to the city of Flint.
What's that?
Good old days, to where no matter who you voted for, you was voting for somebody that was finna go out there and break their neck to make things better for your community.
But you know how they got to that, Brother Jones? Scrutinized. If they heard that a certain person was running, that they would make a visit to that individual person and say, look at here. See, that's the way the union caucuses work, man. We rallied together and looked among ourselves, just like the Bible says. When those people was watching the Israelites, how they were taking care of their widows and their offerings. And they say, well, how come they take care of their people and we don't take care of ours? Jesus told them, look among yourselves of men of good report. They just didn't throw anybody up there just because they were popular. Look among yourself. And that's how they came up within the church of Christianity, the early church, with deacons.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't know that those first deacons were from the Greek organization. They were Hellenistic. They were from a Hellenistic group. And anybody that was not a Jew or practiced Judaism, they were dogs. That's why the Jews today have such a high rank. They stick together. Their economic system is designed that they step on their money 4 or 5 times before it leaves the community.
Yup.
But we as black people, we get caught up with personalities. I don't like him. I don't like her. Because her cologne is this. He used to be all of that back in the day. Forget all of that.
Man, you know something. This ain't this something, Pastor? I mean, I done heard people talking about, oh, we vote for her because of how her hair look, how they. Man, what is y'all thinking about?
Well, that's what I'm saying, Brother Jones. We got to redesign our mindset. We've got to redesign our mindset. When I went up to the last election of the mayor, I went up to the senior citizens up there on Home Street, and I asked them Negroes that's shooting pool and playing cards and playing domino, who you gonna vote for? Oh, I'm voting for Nelly. I can't stand that Karen Audrey. I said, well, what is it you can't stand? This individual she got in her group. Well, what that got to do with Karen?
Man, I got a friend, right, that got a personal problem with Karen.
Well,
and I'm just gonna drop that.
Yeah, drop it.
I'm gonna talk about me. Karen Weaver or Eric Mays, neither one of them supported me, or Sheldon Neely. Neither one of them supported me during my run as a write-in candidate for Third Ward Councilman. Ain't no secret.
Right.
But that don't mean that I ain't gonna stand up and support one of them because they are the best candidate to represent my city. I want to vote for who's best for my city. I don't want to vote for somebody that I get along with, because sometimes your best friend is the worst decision.
Amen.
So Amen. I'm not gonna be walking around, oh, you didn't support me, what you calling me for, I ain't finna be that kind of person. But it's a lot of people in Flint that's like that.
That's true.
A lot of persons in Flint know that they buddy ain't no good, don't know nothing, finna go in there and give everything to the white folks, let the white folks come and take over, but that's their buddy, or they gotta. And then this is something else that everybody needs to understand. When a person gets, Sheldon Neely, when he get elected in office, he got a certain amount of positions to fill. It's more people that wants to be in those positions than he got positions to give. When Karen Weaver was in office, she had the same problem. And when a person don't get chosen for one of those appointed positions, or one of those jobs, don't get that job, then you got 3, 4, 5, 6 people that didn't get it that's talking mess. And you just wasn't chosen by that person.
Yeah.
You can't, just like grant money.
Yeah.
Everybody can't get, the grant money is not made to give everybody that wants some grant money. The grant money is made to make people or nonprofit organizations not like each other, because this organization got a grant and this organization and these, wait a minute, let me get that right. And these organizations got left out. So all of these left out got something to say negative about the one that got something. And it shouldn't be that way. The personal feelings need to be set aside. It needs to be at who is best for my city, who gonna do what's best for my grandkids. Because right now, we looking at a city that I don't even want to raise my, I don't even want my grandkids to come visit me for the summer. I'm trying to get my life together to where I can go visit them for the summer.
All right.
I mean, and that's sad, because throughout history, all kids, especially the bad ones, would get that summer with their grandma and their grandfather. So some of the things that their mother and father couldn't provide for them because of what they had to do to keep their household up. Your grandma sitting on that porch every day watching you go outside and play.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They can bring some of that humanity that's missing in society. A lot of folks, we don't have that no more. We being raised by a bad parent and pastor. Your generation was attacked as drug abusers. My generation was attacked by that 3-strike system, that over sentencing system. You are equal to Martin Luther King Jr.
Well,
and what I mean is, as an age, as protest, and as in stand up.
Right.
They don't want your children, which is me, to take your place. And our grandkids is definitely not taking your place. My kids ain't voting, and I'm saying as old as my age group. We are sitting down and smoking and drinking with our kids. Our kids are cussing around us. And what are our grandkids finna grow into? Think about it. You got all of these kids out here now that are getting in trouble.
Amen.
Whose father is dead.
Yeah, or in prison.
That's just keep it real. Some of these 25 years and under ain't seen their father since they was like 12, 13. Some younger than that.
You are hitting on it about bringing back the process of how the family structure was 60 years ago. The family structure 60 years ago consisted, not all of them, but there were more fathers in the home. The grandmothers were visible. I heard a statistic the other day that the population of this city, and I think they said Detroit, but the city is 70% women in the household. 70%. Now, who's to blame for that? I blame the government. Because once upon a time, a man couldn't be in a home. A single woman couldn't receive any assistance with a man in that house. Who set that up? The government. The government failed. The government approves drugs like they sold the St. John Center over there. The city of Flint, I understand they sold the St. John Center building over there. And the mayor of this city stated that the reason they sold it is because it used to be a police or fireman training center. Now, he don't even know the history of that building. Yes, it's an old building, but it is a lot of memories in that building. It's
a historic building. Just like Burston. Y'all got to build around Burston whenever y'all get ready to do a change. That's a historic site.
That's right.
Just like all of these houses that they're tearing down, those are historic houses.
Well, we could, but we have to change.
It's just so much. I mean, it's just so much devastation in our city. Well, Pastor, I got to get off this phone with you. It's been brilliant talking to you. A couple of people are kind of happy I called you first because I didn't call them and bug them. But you know, it's always a pleasure of talking to you, and I'll get to them eventually. I ain't talked to my boy in a minute.
Yeah, but remember this, Jones. There's a lot of educated people with degrees on the wall. But those same educated people act like fools on the floor. Yep. Check that out.
And you tell sometimes, as they say, you so educated you dumb.
Well, that's why I told you, government failed. Yeah,
System of racism. It's a racist
that's
system.
right. They practice racism in the process. All right, Doc. Appreciate you.
Hold on. Tell everybody what you doing Saturday. Who's gonna be on your show this Saturday, or you don't know yet?
Well, I don't know yet. I just got through. I haven't started thinking about it yet, but it's gonna be about the city of Flint. Let's talk about it. And our mission is to cause Negroes to stop, think, evaluate, and then make a moral decision. All right.
All right, everybody, peace out. And that's on 1420, right?
Always.
1420 AM radio, 8 o'clock in the morning this Saturday. Y'all turn the radios. I love listening to Pastor Thelkel because he always tells me something I didn't know until he started opening his mouth and talking. And that's what it's all about, informing the people. You can't say what you don't know.
Amen.
And I really appreciate you once again. This is an original water warrior on the phone, and we're going to do a special with him to where, you know, every Saturday we bringing on different water warriors, you know, talking. Cause like I said, y'all original. I'm not original. I just came in and seen the fight and joined in and started throwing blows.
Well,
you know,
your granddaddy Bowers was one of my mentors, and if I would have listened to what he told me 60 years ago, I'd be a rich Negro today.
Man, if my grandma would have listened to what he told her 50 years ago, I would have been rich. He told my grandma, stop spoiling that boy and make him learn how to play the piano. My grandma said, he don't want to learn. But guess what? All these musical ideals that I have up here, just imagine if I learned how to play the piano. I mean, now they're making a whole song off of a keyboard.
That's right, Hazel Bowers.
And she can play that piano too.
Yeah, and both of them was a member of Metropolitan Baptist Church, 930 East Myrtle. Sure did.
Hey, Pastor Thelkel, you gonna try to get that church? You gonna try to take over Pastor Miller?
No, I'm interested in it, but I think if they won't be, they ought to come get me.
Well, if I gotta start shouting it, I'll shout for you, bro.
All right.
I mean, we might well have somebody homebred and home fed up in there.
Well, that's one of our problems. We always going elsewhere to get people that they think don't treat you. That's what I'm saying. Them educated Negroes. Yeah. But if it's the Lord's will, I'll be there. Yeah.
All right. Peace out. I love you. I love you. I will be tuning in Saturday myself. I'll probably call you again because people been getting on me talking about what be happening at 8 o'clock in the morning with Pastor Thelkel. So I'm gonna call you. We get all that back because I'm tired of getting kicked and people they don't put you down because they don't see you or talk to you, but they call me and they be talking smack.
Well, you tell them to call me anytime. 7-8.
Man, you know I got your back, Pastor. We ain't gonna even go. You know I got. Man, look. Hey, whenever you go off, I'll just stand by what you say. Well, he said it, and I ain't gonna say he was wrong. So what's next?
Well, that's why we can stick together. And I like working together. Anybody, I work with Mays. I work with anybody that's gonna sacrifice.
It was positive. So that's what I'm. Just like on Flint Voices this Saturday, and you know I don't get along with Quincy Murphy. You know I don't agree with 99% of the things that he say. But the 1% that I agree with him on, that's what we're gonna talk about this Saturday, and that's that Ajax plant that we don't want.
Right.
So that's how we gotta roll. We just can't keep avoiding positive conversations like the one we're gonna have Saturday because we have so many negative things that we want to fuss and fight each other about. And it's all my main goal, Pastor, is all about helping the residents of Flint. And those people over there not knowing what they finna be breathing, they need to know.
That's right.
They need to know. See, so that's what we're gonna do.
That's why we're in trouble because we don't have a solidary front. That shouldn't have went down. The council, Genesee Council, should have voted against that when it came across the table.
the county commissioner should have did something about it.
That's what I'm saying. So we
The county commissioner, because that's a county problem. Because to be honest, they're not even building a site in Flint. They're building a site in Mount Morris or it's somebody. I forgot what. It's not Mount Morris. What county is that?
Yeah. Well, whoever the county commissioner is,
the county commissioner, just like the city council. Y'all making Flint decisions. Y'all not making your ward decisions. That's the same. All of them commissions, all them commissioners need to be voting and talking about not having that place up there. Our state rep need to be saying that. Our mayor need to be saying that. And our city council and our residents. This should not be no one group raising their voice. This should be the city of Flint raising their voice.
That's right.
And that's the same thing that I say it should have happened when Eric May subpoenaed Rick Snyder. That should have been the city of Flint making sure that subpoena was, and at least he could have said, I plead the fifth. At least make him plead the fifth.
Well, he has that constitutional right, but I put so much heat on him that he would have to come up with some kind of answer, and that's why we don't show up as a group. If he would have showed up to that committee meeting and answered that $267 million, people wouldn't be calling Karen Weaver a thief, and it wouldn't have been no question about why he pleading the fifth now. Right. Well, that's the reason why the president mayor, when he was state rep, we personally asked him to get involved with the city problems under Karen Weaver's administration. Help us out up there. You eat breakfast with the governor, and you can straighten that mess out. He said he wasn't going to get involved with that mess in Flint. So when he decided to run for mayor, he was off from my list. No.
That's sad to hear.
We got to work together and get accountability out of those elected officials holding those positions. We got to put their feet to the fire. And I'm gonna close again.
Man, we done ran over 5 minutes, but that's all right. Mick got our back. But anyway, man, we finna get off this time for real, y'all. Make sure y'all tune in and check him out. And y'all already know 810 News Media Group got it popping. We doing something Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Let's get it.
All right. Appreciate you calling, man.
I appreciate you, and thanks a lot, Pastor Thelker. You've been a wonderful guest, very informative. And I got to get with you because you got to tell me more about the housing project behind Dora Router, because that's something that I want to be put on my next agenda.
All right, Tim.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Now I'm ready to concentrate on making my money, Brandon. Huh?